compression test on an XJ650.
So we start by taking the plugs out, all four of them, out of this 4-cylinder engine. Go around the other side and do those ones as well. Open up the compression gauge. There's the compression gauge. There's the attachment. Wind in the attachment. Alright, but not too tight, you'll never get it out again. And attach the actual gauge to that. And now it's on there. And now, leave this here, somehow. Now we get the key, put it in, crank the engine. Full open throttle, crank the engine till the needle stops bumping up any further. There we go. So that's at 125 psi, which is higher than I expected. So that one is probably good. And release the pressure. There's a little button at the back of this, just there. That's the pressure out. And you can disconnect. And you can disconnect the line, and then unwind it, and move on to the next cylinder. And again, full open throttle, which is bound to happen eventually. Full open throttle. Yeah, pretty consistent at about 100 and what do we call that? 115, something like that. Not perfect, but they're close to each other. For my purposes, they're close enough. So now we've come around to the other side to do these two. And again, place it where it'll stay. Full open throttle and crank. Again, about 120. Pretty happy with that. So, final one. Just over 125. So the outside ones seem the best, which would make sense because this is an air-cooled engine, so maybe the outside cylinders cool down a little bit better than the inside ones, and that would help reduce wear, I guess. Now, if you did have if you did have low compression, one way to start working out whether it's worn piston rings or worn valves is by adding a little bit of oil to the cylinder before you crank it. So we know this cylinder was just over 125, so I'm going to add two or three small squirts of oil into the cylinder, and then I'm going to redo the compression test, see if that number changes very much. So again, wide open throttle, crank the motor, and that has gone a little bit higher. So it's gone from 125 to about 130, 140. So that would suggest there is some wear, at least in the piston rings. For this old motor, I'm happy with that anyway. But if you had a really low number, like say 90 or 80 or something like that, below 100 is when you start worrying, 100 psi. And if you did have a number lower than say 100 and you put a bit of oil in and it jumped up to like 150 from 100 or even higher, then that's going to tell you that yes, your rings, or at least where the rings mate the bore, is no good. So either the bore's worn, or the rings are worn, or the piston's gone, or a little bit of everything. If you didn't get any change, so you had, like, say 100 psi, and it didn't go up when you put oil in it, then that would suggest that it's your valves that are worn. So on that cylinder, it shows that at least there is a little bit of wear in the cylinder, but not enough for me to worry about. So I'll do this other one, which we got about 115 psi out of this cylinder. So we'll see. But I'm expecting the same kind of thing. We'll get an increase maybe of 20 psi, because I'd say it'd be the wear in the cylinder. I mean, mind you, this engine's got 154,000 kilometers on it, so for an air-cooled motorcycle engine, it's a fair few Ks. So you're gonna have some wear. So again, full wide open throttle, and as you see, it's 150. So again, that's gone from 115 to 150 on that cylinder. So we can be pretty confident that most of the wear there is not so much in the valves, but in the piston itself, in the piston rings and the bore of the engine. Which is a bit sad, because really, yeah, this engine should be running about 150 psi, and it's running about 120. But like I said, I mean, considering how old it is, how many Ks is on it, and the fact the guy bought it off it used to run it with no oil in it till the oil light came on, which is a big no-no. Pretty damn happy with that. So yeah, that's how you do a compression test.